Hey guys, AT here, and welcome to what is the second in an installment of something that I hope I can do more regularly, the Diary of a Cover Band Musician. I am just an average, everyday guy that, by the good grace of God, has been gifted with enough skills in my life that I get to go out on the weekends and live my dream of being the weekend rock star. I am fortunate enough to be in a wonderful cover band that plays a variety of really good tunes. We have no trouble getting bookings at nice clubs, and it is something that I derive extra income from, get to have a good time with, and it's something that I've spent the better part of 25 to 30 years honing as far as a craft. Now, there are lots of things that I could come to you with and tell you about. This is more of an opportunity for me, just an everyday guy from Ohio, to talk to you about what it's like and what it's been like over 25 years in the cover band scene. I've clawed my way up from open jam nights in the early days to shithole dive bars to private clubs to private parties, but had the good fortune of then getting good gigs doing corporate events and all that good stuff. So I've done it all. And I'm not above, at this point of doing this, even, with the abundance of good paying and quality gigs at nice venues that I do nowadays, I'm not above creeping my way into a shithole dive and doing a show every once in a while. It reminds me of where I came from. But here it is. It's a Monday here, and I'm back to my regular grind as an electrical worker. And, just kind of sitting here reflecting on the drive home, thinking about what it's been like all these years and what points would I share with people out there that are trying to do the same thing, because there are several paths you can go as a musician, a rock musician, whatever musician you are, guitar player, drummer, whatever. I've been fortunate enough to be an above average imitator, and by that I mean I have an exceptional ear. I can reproduce what most of my favorite artists do pretty convincingly. I can cop accurate tones. When I figure solos out or I figure out guitar parts, I actually am able to analyze them, the way the guitar player picks, the way he attacks, where his volume roll might be, what area of the fretboard he might actually play a part in, just for the sake of authenticity. I thank God for that talent, because not everybody has it. And it's what's made me marketable as a cover band musician and tribute band musician, because I'm able to hear things and play them correctly. And if I can't, generally, I just simply won't do it, because I have a lot of pride in what I do. That doesn't mean that I've never written music before or can't write music. It simply means that there's enough room in this world of performance for all of us, wherever you come from, and I certainly applaud those people. I've done studio work as well. I've been known to do a little bit of everything in my day. AC/DC tribute band, Beatles tribute band, 90s grunge rock cover bands, 80s hair metal cover bands, classic rock bands, guitar rock bands, Steely Dan jam band every once in a while. That was an interesting experience. But so this weekend, I played two different parts of Ohio. So Friday morning, I woke up at like 4:15, 4:30-ish, packed up all my shit, loaded my car, went to work in another town, and then hopped in the car and drove to Indian Lake, which is about 2 hours away, and played a show up there at the Cranberry Resort. It was awesome. Lots of people, lots of good booking opportunities for private events will come out of that. I can almost guarantee it. Had a good time. But by the time that I was packed up and on the road from that show, it was like past 2 o'clock in the morning. And by the time I made it into bed, I'd been up for 23 hours. That drive home was a challenge, let me tell you. And that's kind of the price that you pay to do this. Friday night gigs, now at my age, they're a little harder to do, because I have a day job and I have to get up in the morning and I get up early. I have to be at work by 7 a.m. So, that night, by the time I wrap up a show, I'm pretty tired. So Saturday, then I had to go to Buckeye Lake, Ohio, which was about roughly 50 minutes from me, and did the same thing over and over again. And my Sundays, a lot of the time, I spend them recovering. Going out and playing rock star over 40 is not as easy as it was in my 20s. Fortunately, I do keep myself in good physical shape, or it would be a whole lot harder. But that's just kind of the thing that you do, what you have to accept when you do this. You're going to be out late. You're going to be loading in and loading out. So that one of the things I wanted to talk about was a lot of people like to say, yeah, but you get paid for doing what you love. And there is something to that. The performance is purely fun most of the time, but it's also physically demanding. I'm not a shoe starer. I'm a very in-your-face guitar player. My influences were performers. I tend to be the guy that's, jumping, climbing on tables out in the crowd, that type of thing. It's who I am. I don't stand still. And when you do that for a 4-hour performance with a heavy guitar on your back, I mean, it does beat the hell out of you just a little bit. But the part that makes getting paid essential is the travel, the load in, and the load out, especially that pack up and load out, because you're tired as fuck from all of the load in, all the action, and you may be sleep deprived on top of it. That's what really, really counts. So, yeah, I mean, reflecting back, it's definitely harder at this age than it was when I was younger, but I'm fortunate in that I have a band that makes it all worth it. For those who don't know, I am in a cover band called Katie and the Red Hots. Katie is, of course, the radiant red-headed singer, and we are the Red Hots. And it is a very talented group of musicians. We're fortunate enough to have a bass player that actually is a bass player, not a guitar player masquerading as a bass player. You can count on him. He's always going to be there. He's always in the pocket. He's not the most in-your-face performer, but he is interactive. But the guy runs the light show from a tablet at the same time he plays bass, so he can't stray far, but he's got great chemistry. He's always there. Katie's a seasoned pro. There's a lot that I could go on and say. She's the featured star of the show, but she's been at it a long time. She's very good at what she does. But we have this secret weapon in the band. His name is Mark Basinger, and that's the guy that plays the other guitar and plays the keys. This guy is something of a musical genius. He has wonderful gear, and he plays both instruments very well. I mean, if I had to pick, if I had maybe a top 3 people I know that I'd one on stage with me playing the other guitar, Mark Basinger is definitely in the top 2. Lenny Arnold may be number 1, because Lenny's from up in Mansfield, Ohio. He definitely gets probably top pick, because Lenny and I worked together a lot of years, and Lenny's the one guy that I know that if I fell completely out to a bad circumstance, he could pick up all my parts, including the solos, pretty proficiently. Mark, though, I'm telling you what, this guy is so much better than he even believes himself to be. Great guitar player, tries to get a great tone, does a real good job of that, but it's important to him, and that's what counts the most. He excellent keyboardist. When it comes to that, it doesn't matter if it's a sound effect or finding the right synth patch, the guy's on it, and he's a great singer too. So gives us the luxury of having another lead singer in the band with a male voice. It's such a nice contrast. He's so much fun. He jams out with me. He'll trade some lead licks every once in a while, and I'm really working on this guy to try to get him a little more on his solo game, because he can do it. There's a lot inside that guy. I can't say enough good things about him. Rob Covey Jr., our drummer, I always say that what makes him the most dangerous of all is what he doesn't do most of the time. In other words, this guy plays stuff like the record, stays right in the pocket until it's time to shine. He has one of the best senses of restraint when appropriate, but when it's his time, I mean, this guy just blows you away when it's time. And that's what I like about him. He's a Scorpio like me, so he's really deep, really passionate. He tends to be a little higher strung like me when I really get in my groove of wanting to talk about something. I mean, this guy's great. He really is. And it's important for him to do a good job, and he certainly does it. it's a great band of people to play with. So who you play with makes all the difference in the world. Chemistry makes all the difference in the world. Your performance and the way that you present yourself on that stage matters, which maybe in one of the ones coming up, I'm going to talk about how you should look on stage, maybe how to act on stage. We'll talk about the stagecraft element of it next. But so yeah, just kind of wrapping it up here, talking about how my weekend went and how I'm feeling right now after a weekend of gigs. Hell, I had to go back to work just to relax because I got my ass kicked all weekend playing music. But the life of AT. I love you all. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Have a good one.